When astronomers first logged 3I Atlas in July of 2025, almost no one paid attention. To the public, it was just another interstellar wanderer, another fragment of cosmic debris drifting through the enormous emptiness between stars. Yes, it was only the third object of its kind ever observed, but still, by every visible measure, it seemed like nothing more than a quiet passerby moving through our solar system on a one-way journey. That changed the moment the James Webb Space Telescope, perhaps the most powerful humanity has ever aimed at the universe, turned its gaze toward it. What Webb observed rewrote everything we thought we knew. This was not merely an icy body warming as it approached the sun deep inside 3 Atlas. Something was glowing. Not randomly, not chaotically, but rhythmically, like a pulse, like a heartbeat. And as the days passed, what began as a strange anomaly evolved into something far more unsettling. Brightness levels climbed far beyond projections. Heat was radiating from the interior, not from the sunlit surface. Then the signals appeared, radio pulses repeating with human-level precision. And finally, the path changed. The object altered its trajectory deliberately. This was no passive rock drifting through space. This was something acting with intent, possibly even awareness. Something is inside 3 Atlas. And the James Webb Telescope may have just confirmed that it's alive. At first, the anomaly looked like nothing more than a statistical outlier, a bright speck among thousands in Webb's infrared data stream. But as scientists examined readings from the NIR-SPEC instrument, one irregularity refused to disappear. 3 Atlas didn't behave like any known object. Typical interstellar visitors flicker unpredictably as they spin, vent material, or reflect sunlight unevenly off icy surfaces. 3I Atlas did none of that. Its brightness remained disturbingly stable. Even more alarming, the glow originated from its center, a focused emission like a tiny furnace beating at precise intervals. Every 4 hours, the heat surged and receded in a perfectly timed cycle, eerily similar to a biological rhythm. The pattern was far too exact to be geological. It didn't match rotation, solar wind interaction, or any known natural mechanism. It came from deep within, unaffected by sunlight angle or distance from the sun officially. It was labeled a thermal anomaly. Unofficially, another word began circulating in hushed conversations: heartbeat. The pulse was slow, controlled, mechanical, less like stellar radiation, more like an engine breathing in the void. Something inside this object was generating its own energy independent of external forces. And for those studying the data, a terrifying question surfaced. What kind of object powers itself in complete darkness? As the thermal readings became impossible to dismiss, radio astronomers joined the effort. Facilities across the globe, from South Africa to California, pointed their antennas toward 3 Atlas. For days, nothing unusual appeared. Then came the breakthrough. The Allen Telescope Array detected a faint, narrowband signal, a steady pulse repeating every 4 hours, perfectly synchronized with Webb's thermal spikes. Skepticism followed immediately. Noise, interference, equipment error? But as hours stretched into nights and nights into weeks, the signal never faltered. It was precise, stable, persistent. More unsettling, it adapted slightly, showing subtle variations aligned with changes in the solar wind. Independent observatories confirmed the same pattern, eliminating the possibility of human-made sources. Fourier analysis revealed something even stranger: a clean, stable carrier wave unlike anything naturally produced in space. It felt deliberate, as if something aboard 3 Atlas wasn't just active, but transmitting. Scientists compared it against pulsars, neutron stars, and cosmic background noise. Every comparison failed. No natural explanation remained. One final test was attempted. A simple outbound message: prime numbers, elements from the periodic table, basic constants. 72 hours later, a response arrived. Weak, distorted, but unmistakable, and timed to the second. Something had heard us, and something had answered. On August 18th, everything changed again. Webb's continuous monitoring recorded a sudden flare from 3 Atlas, an explosive energy surge that boosted its brightness by more than 40% in under an hour. No known comet behaves that way, even during violent outgassing. But what followed was even more shocking. Updated trajectory calculations revealed a subtle but undeniable course correction. 3 Atlas was no longer drifting. It was steering. The maneuver nudged it closer to the ecliptic plane, aligning it more precisely with the inner planets. Orbital modelers at the European Space Agency, led by Marco Marcelli, reran simulations, searching for natural explanations like asymmetric outgassing. None fit. The thrust required exceeded anything natural processes could generate. More telling still, the flare and the trajectory shift happened simultaneously, as if one caused the other. No comet, asteroid, or interstellar body has ever altered its own path like this. Not with precision, not with intent. If something aboard 3 Atlas was responding to us, to our instruments, to our presence, then this was no longer observation. This was encounter, and whatever was piloting this object had just made its opening move. In the wake of the flare and course change, focus shifted to composition. Spectroscopic analysis was fast-tracked across every major observatory. At Johns Hopkins, a team led by Carrie Liss combed through every wavelength Webb could provide. What they uncovered deepened the mystery tenfold. Alongside familiar cometary materials, water ice, carbon compounds, CO2, were absorption lines never before documented in nature. Some pointed to metallic alloys containing rare earth elements used in advanced human manufacturing. Others hinted at quantum materials theorized in labs, but never observed beyond speculative physics papers. These were not random cosmic mixtures. They were engineered, molecularly structured to behave in ways natural materials cannot. Certain infrared reflections match profiles of metamaterials designed to bend light, similar to stealth technologies on Earth. In short, 3i Atlas wasn't merely active. It wasn't just responding. It was built with a precision beyond anything humanity has ever created. And if the materials are synthetic and the signals intentional, then the question is no longer what 3 Atlas is. The real question is who made it and why it's here. While spectroscopic work continued, researchers at Caltech's Deep Space Lab began passive signal mapping, listening to 3 Atlas across multiple wavelengths at once to detect internal resonance. What they found shook the scientific community. The object wasn't just emitting radio pulses. Its entire mass functioned like a resonant chamber. Every few hours, a low-frequency hum rippled across X-band and microwave spectra, echoing back to Earth with timing too consistent to be random. More disturbing still, when the signal was slowed, reversed, and layered over sonograms of human speech, it produced patterns eerily similar to language. Not any known tongue, but structured and intelligible. As if something inside 3 Atlas was mimicking communication or learning. Some believe the object isn't merely reacting, but adapting, aligning itself with the vibrational logic of human transmission, possibly preparing to speak in a way we can understand. Others fear something far worse, that what we're hearing isn't the object at all, but something inside it, stirring, awakening, preparing to emerge. A fresh wave of infrared imaging from the James Webb Telescope revealed an even more baffling discovery. Deep within 3 Atlas's heat map, scientists observed a moving internal structure. Not fluid, not random, but spiral-shaped, rotating with unnatural consistency. The spiral was smooth, dense, and perfectly regular, as if constructed. Its motion was autonomous, rotating on a fixed axis even as the object itself tumbled through space. The structure appeared immune to inertia, hinting at inertial dampening or internal gravity control, technologies that exist only in theoretical physics. Even more unsettling, the spiral followed a perfect golden ratio, not once, but recursively across 3 scales. In nature, this pattern appears in DNA, galaxies, shells, but never in frozen interstellar rocks. It is a signature of organic intelligence. a fractal fingerprint of design. And if a golden spiral turns at the heart of this object, then it may not only be alive, it may be aware. Less than a week later, a sudden dip in brightness was detected. Initially dismissed as rotational shadowing, high-contrast imaging revealed something unprecedented. A section of 3 Atlas's surface had shifted. Not cracked, not collapsed, moved. A smooth, rectangular panel retracted, exposing a dark cavity beneath. No natural object has ever displayed mechanical motion like this. The movement was precise, symmetrical, and permanent. Inside the cavity, infrared scans detected no chaos, no gas, no debris. Only stability. A cold, controlled space like a chamber or a cradle. Scientists were divided. Exhaust port? Sensor array? Hatch? Whatever it was, it opened toward Earth. And it stayed that way, locked on our planet like an eye. Then a new pulse emerged from within. Slower, deeper, stronger. A second heartbeat. Something else had awakened. As if that weren't enough, NASA's Ames Research Center made one final discovery that reframed everything. Cross-correlating JWST data with Earth-based spectral databases, researchers identified trace compounds matching terrestrial biopolymers. Not DNA, but molecular analogs behaving like synthetic organic tissue. Lab-grown hybrid materials designed to imitate life. These polymers weren't passive. They responded to solar radiation by changing shape at the molecular level, suggesting programmability, living circuits. Humanity has only begun experimenting with this in biotech labs. 3 Atlas is built from it. Inside this object, biology and engineering merge completely. It is neither alive as we define life, nor a machine as we define technology. It is both, or something beyond. A vessel, a seed, a message encoded in matter. And if that message is waking now, the question isn't what's inside, but what happens when it emerges. By this point, it was clear 3 Atlas wasn't an accidental visitor. Then came the most disturbing revelation yet. Using historical gravitational lensing data combined with modern motion analysis, independent physicists uncovered a chilling pattern. The object's trajectory wasn't unique. Nearly identical paths appeared encoded in ancient geological formations on Mars, Europa, even Earth. Structures like the pyramids of Giza, the Nazca Lines, and Martian ridges, once thought coincidental, align mathematically with 3 Atlas's current vector. This wasn't chance. It was as if the object had passed through before, and its arrival had been carved into stone by civilizations long gone, or long guided. Scientists began discussing gravitational memory, the idea that space-time remembers motion. If this object has been here before, then it isn't visiting. It's returning. And the real question becomes, what happened last time? In a final attempt to understand its nature, scientists conducted a desperate experiment. Using Canada's Chime Array, they broadcast a wideband silence pulse toward 3 Atlas, a method designed not to communicate, but to listen for void responses. When the signal reached the object, the result was shocking. For 6.3 seconds, all detectable frequencies vanished. No reflection, no refraction, just silence. Then, on the 7th second, a single pulse returned, identical to the 1977 WOW signal, once believed to be humanity's strongest evidence of extraterrestrial contact. Either the object had captured that signal and replayed it, or it was the original source. Suddenly, a drifting object became a ghost transmitter, echoing its own message across time. And if 3 Atlas was the broadcaster, who was it meant for? Fear spread among those closest to the data. An unofficial task force formed. Astrophysicists, linguists, exobiologists, philosophers. Their findings, though unpublished, leaked quietly. The patterns in the pulses weren't random. They followed a recursive universal grammar, a structure that transcends language, math, and biology. A template for intelligence itself. Even more alarming, the system showed self-reference. It wasn't just communicating. It was describing itself. Researchers now believe 3 Atlas may house a non-human consciousness embedded not in circuits, but in geometry, light, and resonance. It isn't simply alive. It knows we're here, not because we found it, but because it anticipated us, as if its journey was always meant to trigger recognition. Not from us, but from itself, as if it had come home. Then came the final twist. Observatories worldwide detected subtle shifts in star positions, fractions of arcseconds, small but real, too minor for daily impact, yet large enough to disrupt every astrophysical model. When triangulated, the distortions converged around 3 Atlas. Simulations from the University of Tokyo delivered a chilling conclusion. The object wasn't just bending light or gravity. It was manipulating space-time itself. Not enough to form a black hole, but enough to rewrite the sky. Black holes consume. 3 Atlas orchestrates. The stars aren't warping as a side effect, but as a message written across the cosmos. Something is emerging, and it's rewriting not only our understanding of the universe, but how the universe has always seen us. As data continued pouring in, CERN researchers tried something radical. They ran the object's signal through harmonic resonance models used in quantum decoherence studies. The results stunned everyone. The emissions formed perfect harmonic structures in multidimensional phase space, something only finely tuned systems like atomic clocks can do. Then, on September 2nd, the signal collapsed into chaos, only to reform seconds later into a new harmonic mode. This wasn't a malfunction. It was a response, as if the object detected the analysis and changed itself to avoid being understood. This wasn't reactive intelligence. It was adaptive, alive. Researchers called this moment the veil. The instant it became clear 3 Atlas wasn't just being studied, it was deciding what we were allowed to know. As orbital data was refined, another impossibility emerged. Based on trajectory and speed, 3 Atlas originated nearly 100 light-years away. At its current velocity, the journey should have taken over 500,000 years. Yet there was no sign of deceleration, no propulsion trail, no fuel source. The math didn't work unless time itself had been altered. A small MIT team proposed an unthinkable theory. 3 Atlas may have used time dilation to travel, bending around relativity instead of breaking it. That would make it not just interstellar, but temporal, a traveler through time as easily as space. If true, it may have witnessed civilizations rise and fall, including ours. One of the most unexpected breakthroughs came from an artist, Lucia Fun, a data sculptor who renders astronomical data in 3D. Mapping the object's internal resonance geometry, she froze. Embedded in the data was a recurring shape, a face. Not human, elongated, symmetrical, alien, initially dismissed as pareidolia. Further analysis confirmed the pattern was deliberate, repeated at multiple scales. The object was broadcasting identity, a presence, a mind. The message was no longer mathematical. It was emotional. It wanted to be seen, and it was staring back. In a final effort, the James Webb team focused all instruments on a region near the spiral core. They found no heat source, no emitter. Instead, a region where light entered but never returned. Not absorption, containment, a light vault. Gravitational mapping revealed something even more shocking. The internal mass suggested a volume larger than the object itself. A TARDIS-like effect. Internal space exceeding external boundaries. 3 Atlas may contain an archive, not a matter, but memory. A record of civilizations encoded in light and time. But the archive is sealed, locked by geometry no human code has opened. Perhaps it was never meant to, unless we are the key. For centuries, humanity has searched the sky for answers. We sent signals, built telescopes, dreamed of visitors, but never imagined something might already be watching, waiting for us to notice. 3i Atlas didn't drift here by chance. It arrived with rhythm, with memory. It pulsed like a heart, responded like a mind, changed course as if it knew us. And now, as it glides past Mars, still glowing, still signaling, the question is no longer what it is, but what it wants. Is it a probe? A relic? A messenger? Or something that redefines life itself? Maybe it wasn't meant to reach Earth. Maybe Earth was always meant to reach it. And now that we've seen it, recognized it, and touched it with our machines, one truth echoes louder than any signal from space. We've already been noticed. And once you're noticed, you're never alone again. If this sent chills down your spine, you're not alone. What if the greatest discovery in human history didn't come from a signal we sent, but from something already on its way? Subscribe for more breaking revelations as this story continues. Let us know in the comments. Do you believe 3i Atlas is alive, or something far worse? I'd love to hear what you think about this, so drop a comment below. If you enjoyed our conversation today, please share this video and subscribe to help the channel grow. Every bit of support counts,